On cam, Iran appears to mock Trump with an AI video dramatizing strikes on a US base. Iran's latest messaging push could be framed as a reality check after reports suggested Gulf strikes may have been more serious than publicly acknowledged. Iran may be launching a new psychological campaign as questions grow over whether the Trump administration kept the real damage hidden from the public. An Iranian social media account released an AI-generated video portraying strikes Tehran says it carried out during the war. The official handle of Iran's Consulate General in Mumbai posted the AI video on April 29 as part of Tehran's wider wartime messaging campaign. The synthetic video purported to show Iranian jets striking a US base in Kuwait, even though similar visuals circulating online have previously been identified by fact-checkers as AI-generated. Iranian messaging around the clip also appeared to mock the US Air Force by implying that even aging Iranian aircraft managed to hit American targets at the height of the war. The post by the Consulate General of Iran in Mumbai said, and I quote, "Iranian precision outplayed Americans while they struggled, even downing their own jets." A simulation of the bold Iranian Air Force pilots striking a US base in Kuwait. Unquote. Earlier, Iranian military-linked reporting said the Air Force had conducted multiple sorties against what it described as enemy bases in Iraq, Kuwait, and Qatar in the early phase of the conflict. That claim drew attention because Iran is generally understood to operate only a limited number of aging combat aircraft, in large part because years of Western sanctions have constrained modernization. Despite those limitations, Iranian officials and aligned messaging channels have maintained that Iran still managed to strike US regional bases using those older jets. Iran's retaliation on US bases in the Gulf appears to have caused far more damage than Trump has publicly acknowledged, according to officials and new estimates. NBC News reports that US bases and equipment across the Persian Gulf sustained extensive damage from Iranian missiles and drones, beyond early official descriptions. Some US officials now privately say the true extent of the damage is far greater than what has been publicly claimed in press conferences and briefings. Analysts at AEI and other think tanks estimate that more than $5 billion will be needed just to repair damaged infrastructure, before counting lost aircraft or munitions. Remember, after the February 28 opening blows, Iran launched retaliation across 7 Arab countries, striking dozens of military and support sites linked to the US presence. Those attacks hit US command centers, key runways, aircraft hangars, and even satellite communication systems that knit regional operations together. In one of the most striking incidents, an Iranian F-5 fighter jet managed to bomb Camp Buthering in Kuwait despite active air defenses, breaching what was thought to be a secure airspace. NBC notes this was the first time in years that a hostile fixed-wing aircraft had successfully struck a US base, highlighting a rare but serious gap in protection. Bases hosting US forces in Qatar, the UAE, Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia all recorded significant damage from missiles, drones, or debris. In Bahrain, the headquarters of the US Navy's Fifth Fleet, the nerve center of regional maritime operations, was badly hit, forcing temporary shifts in command functions. At Kuwait's Ali Al Salem Air Base, multiple hangars and storage warehouses took direct or near-direct hits, damaging aircraft shelters and logistics hubs. In northern Iraq, a US-linked munition storage site near Erbil was damaged, raising concerns about blast risks and forcing ammunition to be moved or secured. A runway at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar was reportedly destroyed, temporarily limiting sortie rates and underlining how vulnerable even flagship facilities can be under sustained fire. Interestingly, this comes after new footage appeared to show far deeper damage to a key US radar installation in Qatar, raising fresh questions about the vulnerability of American military assets in the region. Ground-level shots suggest Iran's the 28th of February strike did far more than scorch the surface or singe paintwork. The target was America's ANFPS-132 Block 5 early warning radar complex near Dahol in Qatar. This system is regarded as one of Washington's most valuable sensors in the entire Gulf missile defense web. Earlier satellite passes hinted at only limited damage, but close-up footage now tells a very different story. The images show collapsed external panels, exposed internal framework and heavy scorching across the structure. Iran's IRGC quickly claimed the radar had been destroyed in its retaliatory barrage, a boast many initially dismissed as propaganda. Early March satellite pictures showed scorched earth and what looked like damage concentrated on one side of the radar site. Close-range stills now reveal the outer shell torn open and parts of the main structure apparently sagging or partially collapsed. Yellow insulation layers are clearly visible, suggesting the strike punched through the outer cladding into the radar's inner skin. Black soot streaks along the A-frame roof sections point to extended heat and fire damage, not just a brief flash. Debris fields scattered around the building include twisted metal panels and structural fragments thrown clear by the blast. Other angles show exposed framework, wiring, vents and load-bearing supports that were never meant to see daylight. The IRGC had boasted that its missiles completely destroyed a $1.1 billion American radar, claims now harder to dismiss outright. Analysts caution this may not be total annihilation, but they already call it a strategically meaningful hit. Even partial degradation of a node like this can slow interception times, blind parts of the sky and force a rethink of force posture. The ANFPS-132 provides continuous long-range surveillance across much of the Gulf and wider Middle East, feeding data into US and Allied defense networks. Its detection range extends out to roughly 5,000 kilometers for tracking ballistic missile launches and trajectories. The radar uses fixed-phased array faces, steering its beams electronically rather than moving the structure mechanically. It is built around solid-state transmit-receive modules that allow near-constant scanning of large swathes of sky. Each unit is estimated to cost about $1.1 billion to build and field, making it one of the priciest single sensors in the region. Experts say replacing or fully rebuilding such a site can take anywhere from 5 to 8 years under normal conditions. And this ANFPS-132 was not the only high-end sensor the US lost or saw degraded during Iran's missile volleys, raising uncomfortable questions about how secure America's Gulf Shield really is. An Iranian strike has reportedly taken out a high-value air defense sensor position within a U.S. military compound, marking yet another precision attack that targeted critical American technology. According to Defense Security Asia in a report dated March 15, the strike occurred inside the heavily guarded U.S. Embassy compound in Baghdad, a stunning breach of one of America's most secure facilities in Iraq. Preliminary assessments indicate that a $20,000 Iranian kamikaze drone was responsible for the strike, which allegedly destroyed a Swedish-built Giraffe 1X radar system installed within the compound. The incident once again underscores how inexpensive, mass-produced drones can bypass or overwhelm costly and complex air defense systems that the U.S. relies on for base protection. Iran's drone program is known for using commercially available electronics and simple navigation systems, allowing it to mass-produce large fleets of unmanned aircraft at remarkably low cost. In stark contrast, the Saab Giraffe 1X radar targeted in Baghdad carried an estimated price tag of $2 million, according to Defense Security Asia, illustrating the dramatic cost imbalance between offense and defense in modern warfare.